She is the worst offensive player.
She's not very offensive competent, bro.
Caitlin Clark laughing at Angel Reese's missed layup.
Generational meme.
To lose the game. Here it is. Here's the video. She can rebound everything, but bro.
Angel Reese, possibly the greatest basketball player in the history of America. Oh, wow. Look at those moves. Yeah, that shot is really hard with the hoop wide open.
Who's the best player in the country?
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
WNBA draft. The Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Has suddenly become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the team. A tense sequence against the Indiana Fever has sparked debate about Reese's decision-making, her role within Atlanta, and whether frustration is beginning to build around the team. But what actually happened, and why has one missed opportunity become such a major storyline? Let's break it down. During the game, cameras captured a moment in which Reese appeared to call for more space from a teammate so she could operate with the ball. On its own, that is hardly unusual. Players constantly communicate on the court, especially when trying to create room for a shot or drive. The controversy came moments later. After getting the space she wanted, Reese received the ball with an open look at the basket. Instead of turning the opportunity into a productive possession, the shot missed badly. The sequence quickly spread across social media because of the contrast between what had been requested and what ultimately happened. That is where the conversation surrounding Reese became much bigger than one missed shot. If you enjoy this kind of WNBA coverage, make sure to like the video and subscribe. More than 73% of viewers still haven't subscribed, and hitting that button is completely free. Your support helps the channel continue bringing you these up.
She had a key three. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, ATL is going to actually win this game. And then we get down to the end of regulation, you guys. And I'm like, okay, Ron Howard, open three. She's going to hit it. No, she does not. Angel, you got it. Put back layup, game winner. No. And then Nas again caught it, put it up. No. I'm just like, oh my God, like, are we serious? How does that happen? And all of you guys, baby, my girl, Angel, all right, back up off her, okay? Like, back up off of Angel. We know that she missed that layup. We get it.
Updates. Now, back to the game. By the time regulation ended, fans were asking a much larger question. Was this simply an unfortunate mistake, or was it another example of a growing issue involving Reese and the Dream? Atlanta was battling.
The Dream had the ball for the last shot, game's tied, and Angel Reese has a bunny layup basically by herself, uncontested, and she cannot make that layup. She had 14 rebounds yesterday, 5 of them offensive. I'm not sure how many were off her own misses because I was at camp and got home for the end of regulation and then overtime. But her making that or missing that layup, you just knew. And she looked kind of crestfallen, and she should be because you ought to be able to make a damn.
Indiana in a competitive game, and the pressure increased as the clock moved toward the end of regulation. With the score tied, the Dream had an opportunity to take control. Reese found herself with a relatively clear look at the basket, without the kind of defensive pressure that normally forces a difficult shot. The attempt missed, and the possession remained alive briefly as Atlanta players fought.
And if your best player for Atlanta could make a layup, I wouldn't have this gleeful smile that I have on my face right now. It's a layup. You're 1 foot away. Make it, please. You have a fast break layup by yourself early in the game. How you shoot fast break layups at 50? Fast break layups by yourself at 50%. I don't know. I can't explain it. But Caitlin Clark, 26 points today.
For the rebound and potential follow-up. The opportunity disappeared, however, and regulation ended without a winner. For Reese, the moment was visibly frustrating. And that frustration is important because it shows how much pressure can surround a player in a nationally followed matchup. A single missed shot does not define an athlete, especially in professional basketball. Even the best players in the world miss open shots. Yet this particular play became a lightning rod because of everything surrounding it. Reese has developed a reputation as an energetic and outspoken player. Her intensity, physicality, confidence, and willingness to communicate are significant parts of her identity on the court. Those qualities can be valuable to a team, particularly when a player is expected to become a leader. But leadership also brings.
Angel Reese, in particular, her energy shifted. I thought when she got some of those easy baskets to go in the paint.
Let's go back to Angel really quickly, though, because she was part of the catalyst that you saw to be able to change things around. And
It's been there. Like, sometimes the basket is too open.
I can't believe we had to listen to that garbage the entire halftime.
the entire broadcast of the game while she is blowing the easiest first grade 1-inch layups you'd ever see. And Caitlin Clark is out there hitting logo bombs in her face, dropping 26 and 9 for 12 straight games. Instead of saying she's playing at an MVP level, they're out here glazing Angel Reese just like her fans do on social media. Caitlin Clark gets no love, not considered in the MVP conversation, will be the only player in WNBA history to be top 3 in points and number 1 in assists. And they're sitting here glazing Angel Reese. It's all about Olivia Miles and Paige Beckers, which her team's winning. She's breaking all the records.
Brings expectations. When a player demands responsibility during a possession, fans naturally expect that player to capitalize when the opportunity arrives. That does not mean every shot has to go in. Basketball simply does not work that way. What matters is the overall decision-making, execution, and consistency. That distinction has fueled the criticism following the Atlanta-Indiana matchup. Some observers believe the incident was simply an isolated mistake that became exaggerated because cameras were already focused on the rivalry between the Dream and the Fever. Others see it as another moment that raises questions about how Reese's role is developing within Atlanta. There has also been speculation online about whether teammates are becoming frustrated with her. However, that remains speculation. A few facial expressions.
I know that everyone says that mic and drills don't work for basketball, but if there's one person on the face of this raggedy planet that needs to do mic and drills until their wrists fall off, it is Angel Reese. I have never seen a human miss that many point-blank layups regularly. Angel Reese, she doesn't just see everybody, oh, she missed the game winner, her palms are sweaty. Nah, she misses regular lays all the time. The little putbacks, the million rebounds is a symptom of her missing point-blank layups. Is she left-handed? Because it's always a right-handed, I promise you, with the same coverages she has to get through, I can score that. I can do that. Father of 3, regular nigga. Right? I promise you, I could shoot a higher percentage right there at the basket to Angel Reese.
Gestures, or moments captured by television cameras are not enough to prove that a locker room conflict exists. Still, the body language became part of the story. During the game, cameras occasionally showed Atlanta players reacting to difficult possessions. Those brief reactions were interpreted by some fans as signs of tension. But professional athletes are emotional competitors, and frustration during a close game does not automatically mean teammates have reached a breaking point. That is why the bigger issue may not be chemistry at all. It could simply be consistency. Atlanta needs productive possessions when games reach their most important moments. Whether the ball is in Reese's hands, a teammate's hands, or the offense is running through another option, the Dream must find ways to execute.
I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all defend her. The score is 81-81 in the fourth quarter. 6 seconds left.
Atlanta Dream has the chance to win this game.
Then this happens.
5 seconds. Howard launches. Missed it badly. Reese the putback. Won't go. Hillman. No.
Like, I truly do not understand. Angel Reese is a professional basketball player. Why do she miss so many layups? Like, look. Layups is like the second thing that you learn when you first start basketball. The first thing is how to dribble a basketball. Then the coach will bring you down to that block, exactly where she missed that layup, and teach you how to shoot off that square. But I don't think nobody taught her.
Whatsoever.
She lost them that game. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. If she would have hit that layup, game over. Game over. I had nothing to say. That layup was wide open. If y'all don't think that was wide open, that's bullshit. Aaliyah Boston was right behind her. She could have hit that layup.
Under pressure. The overtime period only intensified the discussion. After regulation ended in a tie, Indiana remained composed and eventually pulled away. The Fever were able to execute enough plays to secure the victory, while Atlanta was left wondering about the opportunities it failed to convert. Then came another viral moment. Caitlin Clark was seen walking toward the Fever bench while Reese remained on the court processing what had just happened. Social media immediately turned the image into another chapter of the growing Clark-Reese rivalry. But the reality is more complicated than a viral photograph. Clark and Reese have been linked since their college careers, and almost every meeting between them receives enormous attention. That makes ordinary basketball moments feel much bigger than they might otherwise be. A missed shot becomes a headline. A facial expression becomes a
Well, Angel, your team on a 17-4 run right now. You started that with a 7-0 run. How did you kind of get things going for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing like in the beginning, but it's a game of runs. You got to put that in your back pocket just because you know you have teammates that have your back.
Pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
storyline. A few seconds of body language become evidence for theories that may or may not have any basis in reality. So, did this game prove that Angel Reese's teammates are frustrated with her? No. There is not enough evidence to make that conclusion. What the game did reveal, however, is that Reese remains under an enormous spotlight. Every possession is being analyzed, every mistake is being replayed, and every interaction with her teammates is being examined for clues about Atlanta's chemistry. For Reese, the best response will not come through social media arguments or viral moments.
The worst part about her missing this shot for the game, it's not necessarily that she missed it, it's the reaction to it. After she missed, this Caitlin Clark walking past laughing, bro. And y'all know how these two fan bases are, so they are loving this picture right here. The main reason it bothers me too is because it makes it so easy to overlook everything else that she actually does on the court. Like defensively and obviously rebounding wise, bro, she's incredible. I just need her to fix this so they have something else that they have to say.
It will come through basketball. If she can consistently turn her energy into efficient scoring, rebounding, defense, and smart playmaking, the conversation will change quickly. Players at this level always have another opportunity to answer criticism. And for the Atlanta Dream, the priority is simple: learn from the loss, improve execution, and move forward. One missed shot does not define Angel Reese. One overtime loss does not define the Dream. But in a season where every game carries increasing attention, moments like this can become important turning points. The question now is how Reese and Atlanta respond. Will this controversy disappear after the next strong performance, or will it become part of a larger conversation about Reese's role and leadership with the Dream? That is the story fans will be watching closely. That moment became even more uncomfortable because of Caitlin Clark's reaction. As Clark walked away, cameras caught what appeared to be a noticeable smirk on her face. To some viewers watching live, it even looked as though she was laughing at what had just happened. Of course, nobody outside Clark's immediate circle can know exactly what she was reacting to in that instant. Reading too much into a facial expression can be dangerous. But in a game already surrounded by the Clark-Reese rivalry, context matters. For Atlanta, the timing could hardly have been worse. This matchup had been promoted for weeks, largely because of the history between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Atlanta.
Is it far-fetched to say that she's not good?
Who, Angel?
Yeah, she's not good at basketball. Like, I'm tired. Look, we've said this in the past. I'm tired of it. I can't lie anymore. Like, I watched her miss 8 layups. She could be averaging like 25, 26 if she could make a layup. And the way she lays it up, it's like she's just learning how to, like, you know, when toddlers finally learn how to walk, they fall a little bit. It's like she just learned how to do layups once she got to the WNBA. It makes no sense to me. Like, she could be so much better. And for someone who has her own podcast, she talks her stuff, you would think she's the MVP. You would think she's that girl over in Vegas. But no, she's closer to AZ Fudd than she is to homegirl in Vegas. So yeah, there's that. She's been an inefficient player. I feel like we hype her up because she's grabbing rebounds, but they're her shots.
Had already beaten Indiana earlier in the season, making this meeting another opportunity for the Dream to prove that the previous result was no fluke. Instead, the closing sequence became a viral snapshot. Reese appeared visibly frustrated after the missed opportunity, while Clark looked calm as she headed back toward the Fever bench. Whether Clark's expression was intentional or simply a reaction to the chaos around her, social media immediately created its own narrative. Millions of people saw two contrasting emotions at almost exactly the same time. One player appeared disappointed after failing to convert a crucial opportunity. The other appeared relaxed and confident as her team prepared for overtime. That contrast transformed an ordinary basketball mistake into something much larger. But there is another reason this particular moment received so much attention. Reese's final stat line looked impressive at first glance. She finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists, recording her 23rd double-double of the season. On paper, that sounds like another strong performance from one of the WNBA's most productive rebounders. However, the deeper numbers tell a more complicated story. Reese shot just 5-for-16 from the field. She struggled badly early, missing her first 6 attempts before halftime. More importantly, she failed to score during
chance to win it at regulation, and it just didn't go down. And then we had to try to compete in overtime. I thought players try to execute the game plan really well, especially defensively. It's just disappointing to come up short. We just had to move on to the next play. I mean, we did what we didn't run there was supposed to be one screen in there, and we kind of forgot the screen. But then Rye, took the shot, and we told those two to, really crash the boards and give us a second chance. They both did exactly what we asked for them. And then we got 2 looks, right at the end of the game that, could have won it for us, but, they rolled out. Just kind of a bad break.
During the entire fourth quarter, precisely when Atlanta needed its frontcourt players to make winning plays. And then came the 2 possessions that everyone remembers. The Dream had opportunities late in regulation to take control, but neither possession produced the result Atlanta needed. The missed shot near the end of regulation became the defining image of the afternoon. That creates an important distinction between a strong box score and a strong overall performance. A double-double can look spectacular on a graphic. 14 rebounds and 6 assists are meaningful contributions. But basketball is ultimately decided by what happens during the possessions that carry the most pressure. A player can accumulate impressive numbers throughout a game.
I mean, it happens like we know any other time like Angel will make the shot. I mean, she knows she'll make the shot, but in that moment, you just got to encourage your teammates. Like, no one person lost us the game. It's a team effort, and just like she's with us when we're struggling, we do the same thing for Angel. I mean, it's a sisterhood. Like, we really love each other, support each other. So, I mean, I'll put everything on the line that the next time she gets a shot like that, she'll make it 100%. It's just this time she came up a little short, but I mean, I have all the faith in the world of Angel that she's going to finish her shot.
Game and still struggle when the outcome is hanging in the balance. That does not erase everything Reese accomplished. It simply explains why the reaction to this performance was so divided. Atlanta's coaching staff also had to address the ending. Head coach Carl Smesko attempted to remain measured during his post-game media availability, as coaches generally do following difficult losses. But the final possessions continued to come up during the press conference. That was understandable. When a game goes into overtime after a team has a chance to win in regulation, coaches naturally focus on the opportunities that slipped away. Smesko repeatedly returned to that closing stretch, emphasizing how important those final possessions had been. There was no need for an explosive reaction. Sometimes frustration is visible precisely because a coach is...
Well, I mean, I think we're playing pretty well right now. I think we have a lot of players playing well, and I think we feel pretty good about the direction of the team. Now, road trips are tough, and I mean, the first thing we got to do is, go to Vegas and be ready for them. But I feel good about our team. We'll have to take a day tomorrow and really kind of rest up because obviously a lot of people played some really heavy minutes. So tomorrow's probably just a film session. And then we're going to have to get ready to give the same kind of effort if we're going to beat Vegas as we gave for most of.
Trying not to show it. Meanwhile, Atlanta's players handled the situation carefully. Alyssa Gray, who produced a career-high 32 points in the losing effort, publicly defended Reese and emphasized that the game was a team effort. That is exactly the kind of response teammates are expected to give after a painful loss. Nobody benefits from publicly blaming one player. And that is important to remember when evaluating what happened. There is no confirmed evidence that Atlanta's locker room has turned against Reese. Claims that her teammates have reached a breaking point remain speculation unless the players or organization directly say otherwise. Still, the questions surrounding Reese's leadership style are legitimate topics for discussion. Throughout her career, Reese has embraced being vocal and demanding on the court. She communicates constantly, calls for positioning, and wants teammates to understand where she expects them to be. That intensity can be an asset. Great teams often have players who are willing to demand more from everyone around them. Leadership is not always quiet. Sometimes it means speaking loudly when the pressure is highest. But leadership also requires accountability. If you demand the ball, demand space, or demand that teammates execute a specific action, you eventually have to deliver when the opportunity comes back to you. That does not mean every shot must fall. It means the decision-making, effort, and execution need to consistently justify the confidence. This is where critics believe the disconnect has emerged. Reese has openly acknowledged that she has struggled at times this season, including rough starts during games. Recognizing those struggles is actually a positive sign. The next step is turning that awareness into more consistent performances when the pressure increases. And that is especially important for Atlanta because
one thing I will say though, as far as advice, is that for whatever reason, in the WNBA, like women's basketball, a lot of their layups, they don't finish like wide, like outside their body. Everything is like up in the cylinder. You know, a lot of people look down on like the mic and drill, like basic stuff like that. I feel like that's all Angel Reese is missing, just a little bit of touch. And once she gets that, then she's really going to be putting up wild numbers. Because she's getting to the basket. You know what I'm saying? You put 20 points within 15 rebounds. It's low-key the best player in the league.
Expectations are rising. The Dream are not simply trying to develop young talent anymore. They are trying to compete, establish an identity, and become a serious postseason threat. In that environment, every possession matters. Atlanta's earlier victory over Indiana demonstrated what Reese can look like when everything is working. She played with force, rebounded aggressively, and made a major impact on the outcome. This matchup was different. The spotlight was brighter, the rivalry narrative was louder, and the game came down to a handful of critical possessions. Reese's overall numbers remained productive, but her lack of fourth-quarter scoring and the missed late opportunity became impossible to ignore. That does not mean her career is suddenly in trouble. It does not erase the rebounding production she has provided throughout the season. It does not erase her double-doubles, her physical presence, or the value she brings to Atlanta. One difficult game cannot define a player. But it can expose an area that needs improvement. For Reese, that area may be turning vocal leadership into late-game execution. For Atlanta, it may be finding a way to make sure its best players are positioned to succeed when the game reaches its most important moments. And for fans, the biggest lesson may be simple: don't let a viral clip tell the entire story. The smirk, the missed shot, the double-double, and the press conference all became pieces of one enormous online narrative. But the real story is still being written on the basketball court. Reese has another opportunity to respond. If she comes back with a dominant performance, this entire controversy could disappear almost overnight. If the same late-game problems continue, however, the questions about her consistency and leadership will only grow louder. For now, the evidence points to a difficult loss, not a broken team. And that distinction matters. Angel Reese remains one of the WNBA's strongest rebounders, and that reality should not be forgotten because of one difficult overtime loss. Months of consistent production on the glass cannot suddenly disappear because of a single disappointing game. But moments like this can still change the conversation inside a locker room. When a high-profile mistake happens in front of millions of viewers, teammates and coaches naturally take notice. If players repeatedly feel that they are creating opportunities for a teammate without seeing enough results when the pressure is highest, frustration can quietly build over time. That does not prove Atlanta's locker room is divided. But it does raise an important question for the coaching staff. As the season continues, Atlanta may need to examine how its crunch-time possessions are organized and which players should have the ball when the game is on the line. Head coach Carl Smesko and his staff now have plenty to evaluate following such a heavily publicized defeat. And the story will only get bigger because the rivalry with Indiana is not going anywhere. Every meeting between the Dream and Fever will continue to attract attention, especially whenever Reese and Caitlin Clark share the court. Fans will analyze every possession, reaction, and late-game decision. That makes the next matchup especially interesting. Will Reese respond with the kind of performance that puts this controversy to rest? Or will the same questions about execution and leadership return? For now, the answer remains unknown. But one thing is certain: the next chapter will be watched closely.